Hello ukulele friends. I've had a request on my channel just to have a talk about the differences between ukuleles and guitars because I know some of you are going to want to switch between the two. Yay! So I would say it's a little bit like speaking Spanish and speaking Italian. There is some similarities between the two, but it's worth spending time on each instrument just to get your vocab correct on both instruments. There's probably two things that are worth learning on each actually. So thing number one would be the names of your open strings. So on guitar, E, A, D, G, B, E, or as I like to say, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. That's really going to help future you out when you want to start learning the notes further up the neck. That's step one. So getting to know those open strings. Thing number two, find a couple of easy chords that are simple on both instruments. So I would recommend A minor, C, and G. If you're coming from ukulele to guitar, I'm going to recommend mini C and mini G to you. Just because you're coming from a smaller instrument, that's going to be a little bit easier to deal with than like your full G chord. The keen-eyed among you may notice that a mini G does look a whole lot like a C chord on ukulele, and you're right. The same thing happens with things like, say, a D chord on guitar looks exactly the same as a G chord on ukulele. So find those similarities so that you can make the connection between each instrument. It's worth noticing because a couple of people have asked me about this before. An A minor chord on a guitar versus an A minor on a uke, they're different shapes, but the actual notes that they contain are the same notes. So you can read the same music, play an A minor on guitar, A minor on uke, and they're going to work together even though they look quite different from each other. Now, the other thing I'd talk about would be the left hand, because left hand technique is actually the same on both instruments. So you want to have your thumb, middle of the neck, pointing upwards, fingers rounded as if you're holding like a cricket ball or a tennis ball or something like that. You want your fingers to be pointed and pressed and just behind the fret, not on top of the fret, but behind the fret. Particularly if you're coming from ukulele, the frets on guitar are just so much bigger. As soon as you start moving away from the fret, the notes start sounding a little bit average. So be really pedantic about getting your fingers lined up really nicely behind the fret, pointed and pressed. That's a really good thing. I've got two songs to recommend for you to play on both ukulele and guitar. So the first would be Under the Milky Way Tonight by The Church, and I would also recommend Riptide by Vance Joy. I've put some descriptions in the link below as well as a chord chart for both instruments. Have a start there, see what you can do, see if you can find the similarities between the two instruments, and yeah, go for it. See if you can improve your playing on both instruments. Good luck.